Hi, I'm Bill Donohue, President of the Catholic League. Here's Mike McDonald. He's the Director of Communication, doing a great job. Sean here, Nick, Bernadette. We've got quite a few good people here at the Catholic League. I want to talk today about what's going on in Massachusetts. It's kind of a strange place to begin with. It's not, it's loaded with Catholics, but they have an awful lot of anti-Catholics there. I've been tracking Massachusetts for a long time. They're not alone on that. We live in New York, so we know exactly come to the table with our hands clean here. But there's something going on there. In 1833, Massachusetts was the last state in the Union to put an end to state churches. Okay, so much for the idea, though, about the Establishment Clause. why did Massachusetts have to wait until 1833 when they decided to do it? But anyhow, the thing is this: at that time, they were privileging Protestants over Catholics. Okay. And, of course, they shouldn't privilege anybody in law. Everybody should be treated equally in terms of your faith community. But now what they're doing, they're privileging another group. Today, in 2026, Muslims. At least they're trying to do it. Now, there's no state funding here, but there's a nexus that's being created. They're asking for, Jamie Eldridge is one of the state senators there, saying that we need a 11-panel commission of Muslims who will be cherry-picked by them, who will then cherry-pick their friends, who will be recommending them to the state legislature for jobs and the like. So we have a commission going to be set up by the state, even though it's not paid. There's a nexus here, an alliance between, and it's very formal, between the state, Massachusetts, and the Muslim community. No Jews and no Catholics are allowed to have their own commission to advise on healthcare and education and the like. It's just for Muslims. Now, one might think, are Muslims doing pretty lousy there in Massachusetts? I looked at the data, Mike, and I found out that in terms of college degrees and post-college degrees, they're way beyond the normal average on this. They're doing very well in Massachusetts. Good for them. Why then do we need this kind of special treatment for Muslims but not for others? And by the way, I don't want Catholics or Jews or any group that's a religious community to have that kind of formal tie. There is such a thing as separation of church and state. It's been bastardized by people on the left, what it really means. But that's a separate subject. There is a legitimate reason to keep them separate. That's what the First Amendment was about, even though that term doesn't appear anywhere in the Constitution. But I want you to address the hypocrisy here. What exactly has Massachusetts been doing for Catholics lately?
Yeah, Bill, and I think that's the second half of this, right? You bring up this sort of like crazy DI notion run amok that the Muslims need something to promote their interests, their causes. Meanwhile, the state of Massachusetts has been incredibly hostile to Catholics. There was just recently a Supreme Court case in which the city of Boston threw thousands of flags from 2002 to like 2018. No complaints ever raised about the raising flags, except one, Bill, and that was the Christian flag. It was just a flag with a cross on it.
Communist flags,
gay pride flags, even Muslim flags.
Yeah.
All of those got to fly up. Not a flag that had a cross on it. That was too far for the Blue Bloods up in Massachusetts to tear that down. That had to go to the Supreme Court before there was any sort of relief for the Christian community up in Massachusetts.
And they got their clock cleaned.
Yeah, and the 9-0 ruling.
Right.
So good on the Supreme Court. But that's what the state of Massachusetts wants. There's a current case right now. There's a city in Mass. They want to build a sort of little commemoration for the first responders, firemen, and
At the police headquarters.
At the police headquarters for firemen and the cops. They want to put up St. Michael's, St. Florian, I think it is, for the firemen. Their patron saints. A lot of community connections. The Irish got off the boats and went into law enforcement. They went into firefighting. So a little bit of a
It's a tribute to the first responders.
Yeah.
It's not about promoting any religion.
The state of Massachusetts, no, can't have that, and they're going hardcore after them, saying you can't put this off. They're getting support from the ACLU. All this craziness.
I wonder. I didn't mention this in my post on this, but by their logic, you have to tear down Martin Luther King statue in Washington D.C. because
he was a minister.
He was a minister, but only a bigot would want to do something like that.
Yeah.
And that's why these people are bigots.
Yes.
That's what they are.
Well, and absolutely, because you could do something similar that they have on the federal level, right, with the Faith Advisory Committee, like, hey, these are things of interest to the faith community. That the federal government could turn around and say, hey, we'd like help assisting the poor, school choice, those types of things that everyone across the board, that everyone could be included in. But instead, you're cherry picking the Muslim community to send a clear message to advance their
Their
in vogue
cause,
cause,
yeah.
and it is frankly disgusting.
And again, we wouldn't want it for our own religion.
No.
It's not a matter of being Muslims. I would be against if they did it just for Jews or for the Zoroastrians or whoever out there. It's just this kind of a close alliance, a formal tie between the state of Massachusetts and one religious group to give them preferential treatment. People talk about privileging. This is an incredible example of it. So I hope people get the point. Thanks.